3, 2, 1. SNV. We time to have some fun.
Yes.
Oh, now it says we live. All right, I see the live sign now. Let me go ahead and put on the Facebook page we live so people will know. And of course, you can find us at SNV Podcasts or at Sunday Night Vibe on Facebook, Twitter, and social media platforms everywhere. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, all the good stuff. I think I need to tweak our Facebook name, but y'all can just find us at Sunday Night Vibe. And tonight's podcast, guys, I'm excited about this one. We're talking about all things 90s TV because if I'm honest, that's where the real TV viewing happened. It all went down in the 90s. The best TV shows, stack it to any. I mean, let's think about it now, right? We got how many channels? 1 billion?
Yes.
And back then, when we only had ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, you had, if you were on TV, you had to be the best of the best. You didn't have, everybody didn't get a TV show. Like now, it's hard to come up with 7 shows for 7 days in a week that you're gonna watch. You struggling. That's why all these love and hip hop and all these reality TV shows, because they're cheaply made and it's cheaply viewed. But we're gonna talk about the good old days when it was hard to get on TV, and if you got on TV, it was worth it. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I still watch some of the reruns nowadays. It's got to be good. It's got to be great. They've tried to had a couple spinoffs, but Claire, let me ask you. We're not gonna do like a ranking system necessarily, but what is the best 90s show ever? And let me put the parameters on this so people know what we're talking about, because some TV shows actually started in like 1988 or 1989, but their reign was in the 90s. So if it started in 88 and it went to like 95, we're going to consider that a 90s show. But if it started in like 1998 to like 2000s, it would have to have a real strong 1 or 2 years in the 90s. Yeah. It maybe fell off. It was so legendary, it fell off. Maybe we could consider. But with those being the parameters of what we call 90s TV shows, what's the best TV show from the 90s of all time?
No, not the best.
The best. I want to know the best.
No, that's not fair to me, because
well, then I'm gonna bump you out the way then, and we're gonna go somewhere else.
Okay. No. Okay. You know what? Okay. My best. Okay. No, because I have a lot, but I'll say this: the one that I watch the most on rerun, like, is Martin.
God.
Martin Lawrence show.
You took mine.
The best. You know, Martin was the show where, okay, well, let's just say this, because Martin started when? 1992? I think it started in 1992, right? When I was just a kid, you know what I mean? I was only like, I'm not telling you how old I was, but I was a kid, so I didn't really understand everything that they were talking about, you know, at that, like when it first came out. But that was the show that always came on, because it used to come on, like when we were younger, it used to come on like on Fridays, right? On the weekends. So just like, I don't know, like the dynamics of the people, like they had like the characters, all of them, like 5 of them had like chemistry, you know what I'm saying? So everybody it made like too. Huh?
Everybody was funny on that show.
Everybody was funny on that show. Every single even the guests were funny on that show.
Hilarious.
Yeah, you know. So Martin is my pick.
Oh, let's talk about Martin, man, because Martin had, you talk about guests. He didn't, I don't think he won an Emmy, but Tommy Davidson, come on.
The funniest.
How did he not win? Did you miss me? How did you not give it up to Tommy?
Yo, that was the funniest episode.
That was hilarious.
That was the funniest episode. I take that back.
No, okay, come on down. The Barnell man. Shaboing boing.
Yes.
You know, when he said he had catfish in the backyard.
Say the line. I know you remember it.
And you know I do. And Martin was like, "What do you say? You got catfish?" He was like, "Catfish, delicious." Just delicious. And Martin turned his head. That's another thing that I like about the show is that Martin turned his head because Martin was trying not to let everybody see that he was laughing. So, like a lot of times you saw like Martin. It was always either Martin or Pam that like you would hear. Well, I'll say this: it was always like Martin who was always like he was trying not to laugh for the most part all the time. And then, like, the other characters were trying to hide, you know. Mm-hmm. And Pam, I don't know if you ever noticed, like, when you hear this, like, really, like, when she's not on set and you hear this really loud laughter, that's Pam laughing, like, like, along with the live audience. So, yeah, that was a show there. But you said that that wasn't the funniest episode?
No.
Well, what's the funniest episode then?
What's the funniest episode?
I'm stuck between two episodes. One episode, and I still laugh to this day. Like I would literally like die laughing. And it's something small, but it's like it's funny to me because it's just random. When what's the kung fu, the guy who do the karate? What's his name again? He plays Martin. And he has a little sidekick who always asking for his money. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. But yeah, they were in Nipsey.
Oh yeah.
They were in Nipsey's.
Dragonfly.
They was fighting in Nipsey's or whatever like that. So he hit Martin so hard. You remember he got on the piano and started playing that. That always gives me laughing because that's the randomest song you decide you want to play on that piano.
What did he do? He hit who?
The guy hit Martin or
Kung Fu Jones or Dragonfly Jones.
The guy hit Martin. Dragonfly Jones.
Dragonfly Jones, yeah. He hit Martin, and Martin walked around to the piano, the other side of the
piano,
and started playing it. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it was like this.
That one, and when what was it? Martin was interviewing them, and not interviewing them, trying to find out who stole his dang on CD player. So he had all of them in the house and whatever like that, and he had the dog with him. Fake dog.
That was funny.
Yeah. That was another part where Tommy, Pam, and them started laughing. They had to turn their head and start laughing. Yeah, man. That thing was I'm sorry.
I mean, there's a lot of funny episodes on that show.
Mm-hmm.
So
what about Martin in the DMV? Or not DMV, the
no. The DMV. Oh yeah. That's funny.
DMV or the job center where the dude told him Richard Roundtree.
Yeah. When he was going to the unemployment office looks for a job, and he was like, "My, you remember me?" And she's like, "I remember you," or something. She said, because before they if you watch the earlier episode, like the early season, the season before that, remember Myra and Stanley and Gina Martin went out on a double date.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that episode. But anyway,
yeah, they
so
was
this
riding
is
the
the
hearse.
next season. Yeah, they was. They was. Yeah. So then he was just telling her like, they know me. He was like, what's on? I said, what's on? The man said, man, put your head down. So,
That's funny.
well, looking like, what you said? Looking like, I can't remember now. Looking like, not Richard Round. Yeah, Richard Round. No, yeah, he said no, looking like Jim Kelly. Looking like Richard Roundtree, looking like Jim Kelly, and then he just started doing little kung fu, little like karate, like little gestures or whatever.
Yeah.
No, the DMV. Oh, the DMV was funny to me because, man, that the Poindexter, the the extra character, that guy was funny. When Martin kept trying to cheat on his test. Cheat on the man's test now.
That's funny.
And first of all, I've never taken a test next to somebody, like a written test at DMV.
Right there.
When you can cheat and copy off their papers.
Never.
He was like, oh, look at Michael Jackson. He was like, oh, look at Michael Jackson. Yeah, he was performing with his brothers. And LaToya and Janet was there too.
Big at the DMV.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't see no Michael Jackson. Oh, and then Sherman Hemsley. Sherman Hemsley was the guy, behind the counter. And Martin was like, he gave Martin a stack of paper. He was like, I gotta fill all this out. He was like, yep, you gotta go to Scratch. He was like, where's Scratch? and then there's a sign saying Scratch. All the way in the back.
Man.
Oh my God. Anyways, I could go on. Yeah, Sherman Hemsley got annoyed talking about, listen, man, you itching to go back to Scratch.
I wonder if that was actually in the line though.
I know. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of times they ad-lib too.
Yeah. Because think about it, like was he the creator of the show, the producer of the show, the dark skin guy, the tall dark skin guy who played the guy who'd be like, "Oh, Mindy, you remember?" Wasn't he like the producer?
Yeah, I think he was a co-creator.
Co-creator of the show.
With Martin, that guy. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all remember? Talking to the audience, but y'all remember the guy? He was, he was dark skinned, tall, skinny, and he was always the one who was talking to Martin, saying, you all Mindy and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the guy we talking about. He had some leading role, with the show. Him and the other guy who was in the barbershop, right? The one with the Coke bottle glasses.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he was behind the scenes and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there was anybody else. Yeah, we can definitely go on. Like. Yeah, man. That shit. See, we should have stayed that one for last. We could talk about it.
Yeah, it's just crazy because. As a kid, I'm watching this show.
Right. And I know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, no, but whatever. I was able to watch a lot of shows, whatever. Yeah. That I look back on, I'm like,
I enjoyed it more in the 2000s because I was a little older. I understood what was going on, even though it wasn't in syndication. I enjoyed it more. I understood it was, being said.
That's the thing about Martin. It lives on forever. Yes. And you can watch it. And it was only 5 seasons.
Which is crazy because it seemed like it was more.
It seems like it was more for real. But they had a lot of episodes back then. Most of them were every season was 27 episodes except for the last, which we all know came to a screeching halt, basically. But there were still 24 episodes in that final season. But it's just the weird thing is the ratings dropped each and every year from that first year. You know, they started with 11 million homes and it dropped to 9, then 8, then 6.7, and then 6. So it looked like it was on the decline, but you would never know that from the reruns because even the later episodes were funny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was funny, but at the time, because I kept up with that show from a young girl until the end of the season. So by this time, I think I'm about to like reach high school when it was going off. Yeah. So I was middle school, but what was I gonna say? But you know, the whole controversy with the whole Martin and Keisha Campbell. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when things started really like, you know, it wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same because Gina, like the show was about like, it was about friends, but it was also about, you know,
Black love.
A couple. Yeah, you know what I mean? This couple and stuff like that too, with their friends or whatever. But when they're not in the same room together,
yeah,
because I don't know if you remember that. They're not in the same room together anymore. They're not doing, you know, interacting with each other because she's doing a set and then he's over there. But they're communicating, but through the door,
right?
Through the room, like, you know what I mean? And then it just was like, yeah. But I still watched it. I still, it wasn't till the last season. It wasn't that funny to me.
Right.
It wasn't
to me when I noticed it was like, okay, this is it's starting to get whack, is when Pam, when her and her cousin, her supposedly twin cousin, that was the episode because they started using different features and different effects on the show, and it was too much. Right. Like when they had the needle and the needle was like doing this crazy stuff, like they was using the effects too much, and I was like, okay, this is kind of whack. Like we understand y'all got new technology now. Just let it, you know, let the show go on.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is kind of.
I mean that episode. You talking about the episode when Pam's cousin Tammy.
Yeah.
Got out of the asylum or whatever. You know, and that episode. I mean, I did laugh at one part when the short little lady at the thing said, "Who is Buka? What she said? Who is
Bow-legged Lou?
Yeah, who is Bow-legged Lou?"
The way she said it, yeah.
That's the way she said it. I laughed at that, but it was just kind of wacky, like you said, with the effects and stuff. I'm like, is this Martin?
Right.
It wasn't the same. The last season wasn't the same.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
the last show was kind of sad when he wrote "I Love Martin" on the wall. I was like, dang, this show. Remember the very last episode, the final episode when he left and wrote "I Love Martin."
He didn't say "I Love Martin" on the wall.
What did he put?
He put "One Love."
Oh Lord. Yes, he did.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? When I left Atlanta, it was my last day being in my apartment, and I took this one picture. Nobody understood it, and I was like, I took a picture with me like at my door with my back, you know, facing the camera, and I put "One Love" on the wall, and nobody understood what I was saying. I'm like, man, y'all whack, man.
Maybe because they thought it was supposed to say "I love Martin." Like because I messed it up. So shoot.
I was like,
yes, it sure did say "One Love."
My people, y'all better know what this means when I put "One Love" right here and me walking out the door.
Oh, they like this, you know. Martin gets all the love. But anyways, that's Martin.
He was trying to share too much of the love, ruin the doggone show.
Uh-oh.
Well, when you said that, his spirit sure heard you. Got back at you for saying such a thing.
I know that's right. What you got
Martin didn't ruin no show. Martin didn't ruin the show. How would y'all feel if they did a thing?
A reboot?
Show? Yeah, reboot and come back. What do y'all think?
Ain't happening.
Oh, because Tommy not here, man. Tommy's not here.
And plus, I'm gonna be honest, Martin been striking out lately. His last 2 or so television attempts, it just ain't click. He had that one with Kelsey Grammer, the law one.
Did I watch it?
No, you didn't watch it. Nobody watched it.
Oops.
What?
And isn't he down in Florida now on a tour?
What? I don't remember that.
You don't remember what?
So with him, well, maybe that's why.
He was on. It was on FX, I believe. See, that's the problem with so many dogs.
But I didn't watch it.
So many channels.
See, that's the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought shows Kelsey Grammer was in usually hit big, like Girlfriends and all them other shows.
He was in Girlfriend? No, I'm trying to find out on his Partners. It was called Partners. It only lasted a year, I think. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, what you gonna do? So you can't produce. I mean, I don't know. It'll be hard. Like, when's the last? I'm trying to think of the last. He had Bad Boys. Martin had Bad Boys. And then outside of that, I mean, I'm just looking on the Life.
Life was good.
Yeah. I know he on one of his questions he put on Facebook, I think it was Facebook, that he said if I could create one show, what would it be? And everybody was, talking about it. I think majority of people were saying Life. Yeah.
Create another
like to pick up where cameras left off to do a sequel
no
to
burn.
Huh?
But he said, but Bernie's not here, basically.
Oh yeah.
But
I think it was more, because I mean he could do anything.
He just had the line.
Life, because you got so many things he can start with, like the where him and Ray met. Was it Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, where him and Ray, met up or what happened. Man.
Well, on his Instagram, on Instagram, he keeps talking about Bad Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
On Instagram and keep tagging Will and saying when we're gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like he keeps doing that on. So I'm wondering, are they are they doing something?
Well, they've been trying to get it together, and on the last post that Will did, he was basically like, "Come on, Sony." So it must be something with the studio holding it up. It sounds like, because Martin posts on Instagram, and then right after that, Will posts on Instagram. So like they try and team up. But I mean, back to Martin, he y'all mentioned, one movie in 1999, one movie in 2000. That's 18 years since he had. I mean, he did. I mean, he did Death at a Funeral. Yeah, that was 8 years ago, and that was okay.
Yeah.
He did College Road Trip. I didn't watch that one with the Raven Simone. Wild Hogs with John Travolta. Like, it's been
Family Johnson.
Huh?
Am I saying the right movie? Family Johnson Vacation.
The Johnsons.
The Johnson, with Cedric. He was in that, right? No, was he in that?
Ooh.
You know what I'm talking about? Wait,
I know the Johnson's Family Vacation.
Yeah, he was in that, right?
I think so.
Wait, yeah.
I don't know.
Cedric,
no, you thinking of Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Which,
oh God, see, that's terrible, man. Oh my God, it's so terrible.
That's what you're thinking of.
Man, let me tell you something, dadgummit. Martin was the show.
It was the show, and y'all were mentioning.
And Bad Boys was the movie. And Bad Boys was the movie. I don't know, unless they try to do another Bad Boys or something. But
okay.
I don't know. I think he just need to stick where he at and try to do some behind the scenes stuff like producing and all that other stuff.
Nah.
But didn't he did produce something with Tatiana Ali.
Oh yeah, he did do that show.
What was that? What was
it?
That?
Was all right.
It's right. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. That girl. Not
that girl.
Was it that girl? No. Wait a minute.
That girl. Love that girl.
Yeah.
That girl.
With Tatiana.
Love that girl.
Love that girl.
It was on for about 4 years, 2010 to 2014. But I was just gonna say, because that's the perfect tie, because you said Love That Girl, which he was on, which was produced by the same person who helped produce The Martin Show, which this person also helped with the creation of the Jamie Foxx Show, Bentley Kyle Evans.
Yes.
So he's the key. So the Jamie Foxx Show, which ran from 1996 through 2001, which I caught in syndication for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Not as strong as Martin, but that's a show that I can go back and watch some of the replays, which lets me know that it was a strong show, the Jamie Foxx Show. It's got some memorable moments, some memorable characters as well. Garrett Morris was a legend in the game. But I don't know if there's something quite missing, but it did get Jamie Foxx his jump. What do y'all think about the Jamie Foxx Show, where he tried to act and he tried to throw in some singing? He tried to put all his talents into the Jamie Foxx show. What did you think about that, Nadia? Would you label that as like a top 5 90s show, though?
I would probably label it, as top 5. I don't remember too much of it because I wasn't too much into the show like that. I think T was a little more into that show. She know about that show. Me, I wasn't really into that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that one, Claire. Because she got stories.
I love that show.
Ready?
Yeah, I love that show. I mean, after Martin was gone, then there's another show along with Jamie Foxx.
Okay. Is that your deep insight on the Jamie Foxx Show? I think she having technical difficulties. The internet or something's acting up. Oh, her headset died.
They don't want me talking about Jamie Foxx.
They ain't want to talk about Jamie Foxx. I mean, Jamie Foxx was you have to send yourself an invite to do it from the computer. You just go on and.
This is live. You gonna cut that out, right?
No, I ain't gonna cut it out. It's fine. It's the podcast, y'all.
Yeah.
You just go in and do the invite button.
Why can't I just yell it right now?
You can yell it, but we're gonna move on past the Jamie Foxx Show.
But I loved him. No,
Jamie Foxx was okay.
Okay, hold on. How dare you?
Wow. It's going to take her 30 minutes to get that hooked up. So, Jamie Foxx was okay. It was okay. I'm trying to think of like a standout episode of the Jamie Foxx Show. It was all right. Like I said, my base criteria is late night when I'm laying in the bed, turning on the TV. Can I put this on? And I'm sorry. This show that I'm about to say, Nadia, is one of my favorite at the 90s time, but I won't really watch it now.
What?
Do you have a guess what 90s show, Black Star, I think it's one of the best ever, but I really won't watch it now. Do you have a guess? And what do you think it is?
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
It is the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Because mine was in between Fresh Prince and Martin.
The Fresh Prince of Bel Air was the best 90s show. I'm all about Will Smith. I still ride with him till this day. His Instagram is popping now. He just had his 50th birthday. Can you believe that? We used to watch my man as a young buck on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and he just jumped out of a helicopter, bungee jumped in the Grand Canyon for his 50th birthday. God, I feel old.
Did you catch that on live?
I ended up seeing it live accidentally. Like, I knew it was coming, and I just, let me check it out. And as soon as I did that, his back was to the door, and they were about to push him out the helicopter. Did you see it as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that.
That thing was awesome. Listen, I could not do that.
Nope.
Will is crazy for that.
Yeah, he is.
And he messed up, and he said it when he finally got to the ground. When he should have proposed to Hillary, just like in the episode when Hillary lost her fiance. He was supposed to say the line, and I didn't even put the two and two together until he mentioned it. He said, "Oh man, I was supposed to ask Hillary if she'll marry me," but the adrenaline rushed to his head, and he forgot about it. But man, that was a classic episode. We're talking about Hillary. Her fiance was on there and was about to propose to her, and he ended up dying, smacking into the concrete. I mean, there's so many awesome episodes of Fresh Prince of, that show was everything. That was one of those must-see TV episodes. Like, today we have DVR. Back then, it was only the VHS, and you could record it and watch it later at that point, but you didn't. You had to be there when it turned. I think it was 8 p.m. I think it was on at 8 p.m. and of course Eastern time. I'm trying to think. It was on NBC, and yeah, but that lasted 6 episodes. Will Smith has on his YouTube channel the story of how Quincy Jones got him to audition for that role. And he kind of, you gotta go back to it so you can really, really hear the story, because Will Smith is a great storyteller and I am not at that level. But he just talks about walking into the room with Quincy and a bunch of other people at a party spontaneously. And Quincy was like, "Hey, you want to read for this part?" He says, "Okay." He's not prepared for this. He was like, "All right, let me take this and go," something of that nature. And Quincy's like, "No, if you want to do this, you need to do this now." And he did, and he auditioned and killed it. And you got to go back to Will Smith's YouTube and really hear the story of how he got that Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And mind you, he's coming off, just doing things that aren't really seen before. He was a rapper, had a #1 song in high school at right around this time, and Quincy he arranged that meeting and basically wrapped this whole thing around him. And I think it was at his 57th, Quincy Jones' 57th birthday party.
57.
And
57.
57. And just like that, it was only a month from that time where he came in and gave that impromptu audition at Quincy Jones' 57th birthday party that he was in the rehearsal for the actual show. And everybody knows now the legend of that first couple episodes of that season where Will Smith was so brand new, but was so dedicated that he learned not only his lines, the entire episode's lines, everybody's on the cast lines, and was mouthing them as they were saying it. So if you go back and watch those early, I keep crashing my phone here. Whether you watch back those early episodes, whether it's Uncle Phil or Carlton or Hillary speaking, if Will's in the room, he's mouthing their lines because that helps them know when to talk and all that good stuff. We lost Nadia. I don't know what happened to her.
Everybody.
We losing everybody, boy.
Oh my god!
But
yeah, I remember that. Him. I'm like, why is he talking?
yeah, I think. But yeah, so. And everybody keeps dropping out on me on this call, man. What's up with this? They going back to the 90s? But the crazy thing about that show was so strong until, basically got to the point where Will became a movie star and just got too big for the show. But all the other pieces, all the other actors, they didn't reach that same heights, and not even the same heights that where they were during their run from what was that time? 1990, something like that, to 94. Maybe 96, something around there. But 96, 1990 to 1996. But all the other actors, whether it's Joseph Marcel, who was Jeffrey, Tatiana Ali, who put out albums but still didn't make it. Karen Parsons, who was in Major Pain, but still didn't get that level that where she was at. And Alfonso Ribeiro, people still call him Carlton to this day. Man, he cannot shake it. Kind of like another character that we'll, I'm sure, talk about later in this episode, James Avery. And God, we know what the drama with Janet Hubert Witten. I mean, she's still hating on Will to this day, man. That's the saddest thing of this whole story is she blames him for everything, and then she was an acclaimed actress before this, I think was Broadway actor / dancer before The Fresh Prince, and has worked after it, but man, never really kind of reached that level. And I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, Fresh Prince was the best show of the 90s for that time for me. It was amazing. But like I mentioned, I can't, it's so 90s that I can't really watch it today. Like I don't really watch any of the older episodes, but if we're going to say one episode, if we take one episode from Fresh Prince that I will recommend, let me see if I can find the title real quick. And so you can go back if you are new to the Fresh Prince. I don't know how you could be. And you back, Nadia. I don't know where all you peoples is going, but
phones, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Hopefully this one doesn't die on me because I have 2% on this, but it's connected to the wall.
Oh Lord. And Clay done left me too.
Oh, no, not Clay. Oh.
She gone. But I was trying to find the name of the episode to refer people. We're talking about Fresh Prince still. and how it was so 90s that I can't go back to watch it. But there's one episode that gets me every single time. This one Fresh Prince episode. Do you know it, Nadia? Do you know that the one episode of all? It's the greatest. It might be the greatest scene in TV history. This episode was so gripping.
Was it the one where when he finally met his father? Caught up with his father?
Yes.
Yes. That was my favorite episode. Like, that's the first time I actually seen him become an actor. That's his first. Like, that's when he became an actor. I'm sorry. Right there, when he like all that emotion came out. Like, seriously. Ooh. Yes.
Goose.
What was the name of that? Because matter of fact, I was watching that on YouTube.
Okay, I think I found it. It looks like it might be Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse.
Okay, what's the catchy name and everything?
For people who didn't see this episode, as you mentioned,
if they haven't seen this episode,
if you haven't seen Fresh Prince, or you've seen a little bit but you ain't really see it, or you know who Will Smith is, okay, stop what you're doing right after this podcast. Find this episode, which I believe is called Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse. So the whole concept of Fresh Prince, right, is he was in West Philadelphia, born and raised, all right? And he was getting some trouble, as Claire joins us again. He was getting trouble on the streets of Philly. So Auntie sent they brought him all the way out to Bel Air, and he living with his rich Uncle Phil, who's a judge, and his family, right? So all that to say, after 14 years of not seeing his father Lou, who I believe is a truck driver, all of a sudden shows up in his life, and it's all great. And they go, I think, to like a county fair, and they win stuff, like all this fatherly and son things. And Uncle Phil was trying to be protective, and he was like, yo, you're not going to just keep coming up in Will's life doing this. And Lou, the father's like, hold up, man. I've got it together now. And then I think the concept, Will was supposed to go out on the road with him as as he's driving trucks.
Because Lou's the one who brought it up. His dad's the one who brought it up.
Yes. But instead, he ducks out and he's gone.
Remember, before he ducked out, he went to Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
And basically...
Go ahead. Go ahead and basically.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and basically was like, handle this for me.
Yeah.
Can you let him know?
Yeah, he just real slime ballish. And at the end of it, this is like the gif that now pops up where Will says, how come he don't love me no more? Or something like that. How come he don't love me, man? And just broke down and cried.
I cried.
Yeah, everybody, the tears. You couldn't stop it, man.
I was kind of surprised that I cried. Because I'm not really a crier like that, especially back then. And he got me. I was like, dang, man.
Listen,
got me.
I lived in a single parent home. I knew that all too well. That feeling, y'all don't know, it hit me. That is my story with my own father, you know? Would call and say, I'm going to be there, and then don't turn up. And that so many Black families had that going on at one point, you know?
Not just Black families.
Not just Black families.
Not just Black families. You'll be surprised. Like I learned
we're not going to be surprised because 50% of the marriages end in divorce. It's not just 50% of African Americans, but I'm relating it to me and people. So it's just that was a touching moment, and that Nadia said that's when you really felt it. You knew Will Smith had them chops.
Yeah, man.
But I was saying, man,
Yeah, that never happened to me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have a dad to say, "Hey,
but
let's
you
go."
still cried because it was good. He was
Yeah,
so good.
I mean, I was this this that episode where he displayed his acting chops, like his skills, like that. I was like, oh shoot, that's the first time he ever got emotional.
Yep.
They should have handed him all the Emmys. Here, they all are.
Like that was, I was like, wow, like okay, Will, I see you get a little emotional and my father don't like he was like, oh, it tore you apart. It felt so bad for the grown teenager man,
right?
And the thing is, his father was very connected, and in his life, right? So in real life, I'm talking about Will, the actor. So for him to
oh yeah,
find
okay.
something and draw that, connect to that emotion of that story.
Taking some kind of acting class for that episode or something.
He just had it. He just had it, and it's amazing. So that's my favorite '90s show, but I can't really go back because it's so '90s. I can't really go back and watch it on replay at like
really
syndication. Nah,
I watch it.
it's hard.
It comes on every day.
Yeah, I mean, of course I do, but because it's one of the greatest '90s shows, one of the greatest shows. Period.
Come on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll say, okay, you're right about that, Fresh Prince, because yeah, that was better than Jamie Foxx show.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Much better. And the theme song. Everybody know the theme song. That's probably okay. Go ahead. Try. Name a better '90s theme song than the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Come on.
Are you ready?
No.
Whatever happened to predictability? I'm just joking. Just joking. Full House.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can top that. What else?
How about oh God, hold on. Oh Lord. Damn, I just forgot just now. When days go by, it's a bigger love.
Step by Step.
Huh?
That's Step by Step. Oh yeah. What's Step by Step? Step by step, day by day.
Yes. So basically, we can never end this show without talking about TGIF.
I know, which is coming back.
No, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. What did you
coming back? Fuller House?
No. They
I watched that.
They have their new little lineup that they starting to advertise now. Talking about
I heard
about gonna be on it. Ben Savage is gonna be on it.
Who?
Ben Savage. You remember Wonder Years?
Yes.
Yes, you do. They used to be my joint.
Yeah, I like that.
So they're gonna be on it this time around.
I don't know. Okay.
Why would Ben Savage?
But
why wouldn't his brother be on it?
Who? Ben Savage's brother?
Wait. Yeah.
Fred Savage.
Or maybe was it Fred Savage?
Yeah. Which one are you talking about?
Wait, this a reboot?
Savage. No.
What?
Fred.
Fred?
I think so.
Wait, hold up. Rewind. Is this a reboot or is it just talking about one of the Savage brothers on a brand new show?
On a brand new show. I don't think he's in it. I think he's just like
producing
to kind of because he was on Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World
like went on the lineup.
Boy Meets World is Ben Savage.
Ben Savage, okay, yeah.
TGIF. Fred is the older.
Ben Savage
from Wonder Years.
Or is it Fred?
Okay, now All
Girl.
right. Anywho, I'll tell you what. So, yes, Fresh Prince is definitely it, and I mean, come on now. What else? What's another show?
All that.
All that.
Yep.
That had a hit
That's a
theme
TV
song
show.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a TV show from the 90s. All that. Okay.
That theme
All
song
that.
was the bomb.
Yes. If you want to see some of the hottest young rappers, singers, stars come on the show, that's it.
Yep.
And then
This
it was like the
introduction before I
SNL,
blow your mind.
SNL of our time, our generation.
Keenan and Kel.
Yeah, boy.
Nick Cannon. Who's the big silly one? Sorry, I don't know her name.
Lori Beth.
Lori Beth.
Yeah.
A lot of them came out of that.
A lot of them did. Do you have a what's the best episode? Do you have a memorable episode of all that?
Let me see.
Yeah, that's why it's.
I don't know. All of it was like that's. I don't know.
All I can remember is
like
Pizza
like
Face.
It was like not improv. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Pizza Face. That episode.
Huh?
I don't know. No, see, because I didn't have Nickelodeon like that.
I can't really, because when I'm thinking about the TV show, I mean, I knew that was a TV show, but
yeah,
I was thinking about like Fresh Prince and Martin and.
Well, it still fits the bill.
I know it do, and I know it does.
Because if not, then you got to disqualify something I know you got a box set of. In Living Color.
Girl.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I remember more of a Living Color stuff than I do all that, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well, they were adults. They were funnier.
Huh?
I said they were adults and they were funnier. These are kids on this show.
Yeah, but the kids were funny to us at the time. But
really.
Can I watch that again?
I just like.
Oh no, you can't watch that now. That'd be super.
I'd be like this, like, oh God, really? I laughed at that. It was so corny.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm surprised that Keenan's winning an Emmy now. Yeah. Like, what? Like, I haven't watched SNL in years, to be honest, but the last time I saw Keenan, he was portraying the same person that he was back on All That. Just a larger
Bill Cosby.
self. Yeah, just like, I don't know. So, in fairness, like I said, I haven't seen him in a couple years. But I was very surprised because I would be shocked to see that his comedy has changed. His style has changed, even though I'm sure it has grown a little bit. But it was the same old Keenan to me. It's just
it's still the same.
Yeah.
Hey, my phone's about to hang up again. So
awesome.
No charger.
No, I have it charged up, but you know. When you're talking and using up more bandwidth, and you have to think your hand up.
We got you.
But if it hang up yet, could y'all give me a call? I'm going to try to jump back and forth from phone to my
Child, you need an Apple product. No, I'm just joking. But you know what? You know what?
I have an Apple product. These are Apple products.
That's the problem. Your Samsung wouldn't have done that to you.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, your brick phone would have never hung up on you.
Well, speaking of that phone, then I don't care what any of y'all say. Saved by the Bell was my show.
What? Saved by the Bell.
Hello.
Saved by the Bell is a classic.
It was started in '89, I think.
Yes.
But see, I didn't really like those episodes.
Is that the elementary school?
Bliss was the name of the show. I didn't really like that one, but I loved it when it became Saved by the Bell. And of course, I thought, "Oh, this is that." That was my show. I looked up to Lisa because I saw Lisa. You know, well, she didn't look like me, but it was cool to see a black girl on the TV show.
Yo.
It kind of reminded Lisa kind of reminded me of myself because like the school
Because
that
you
I
were super into fashion?
no, I sure was not. I was a tomboy, but I'm just saying, like, my environment, like, because
Being the only black person in an all-white school.
yeah, only white school, and basically, I had more white friends than, so like Lisa. So I just kind of relate to her in that sense. But the fashion part, oh God, no. I wasn't, and yeah, I wasn't into fashion like that. I'm still not, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? I'll just use the excuse that I'm a mom. No, that's not a good excuse. But anyways, Lisa, yeah, I looked up to her. She was the prettiest. Hello.
Listen,
that show was cool. I liked that show. I actually followed that show until they went to college. After they, because they were getting married when the show, the finale.
Yeah, it was good. The college years, that they tried with the college years, but
And they tried with the college years, and then remember after the college years, they had another Saved by the Bell right after that.
yes,
you remember that thing? Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
I didn't watch that one. I think only Screech and Mr. Belding were in that one.
yes, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they
no,
stop.
it wasn't working.
The hilarious thing and the total 90s thing about that was all the PSAs that they used to have about don't do drugs.
Say no to dope.
Yeah.
Because they had the what was it on? NBC, right?
Yes.
NBC. And who was he? The CEO of NBC at the time? He was in the commercial with them, the little PSA with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. There's a guy.
I don't remember him. Nah.
Yeah, when they were sitting around the desk on the desk.
Mm-hmm. Super corny. Super
Very corny.
90s.
And see, that's the thing. A lot of these shows were kind of corny. Well, it looks like it's corny, but it had a learning like moment or whatever, like family matters. Remember, every episode there was a learning like moment.
Yeah.
And the music, remember when the music would come on? The music would come on when Laura's grandma had, talked to her, or her mom, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, what about the one that was ahead of its time where the cop busted Eddie for going into the bar, and he cut a promo on Carl, Eddie's father, cut a promo on the cop, for targeting a black just a black male, and said, oh, well, if he would have just told me he was a cop's son. And then that's when he really laid into him about, the trouble blacks have with the police. And this is what, 94, something like that. Like, really, that's kind of scary 20 years later. We still dealing with the same issues. Like, we need to just go ahead and play this for everybody to see. Like, God dang.
And see, I was still a little oblivious. Like, I was still like, I still didn't really get it, I guess. I guess the way I grew up or whatever, I just kind of still didn't get it. I didn't really know about racial profiling and all that, right? So it's crazy because now, you know what I mean? My kids will probably get it because there's cameras everywhere showing you this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And remember, they did the same thing on Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
Remember?
I don't remember that episode.
You have to remember that episode. Remember when they got pulled? Will and Carlton, they were going somewhere. They're driving. They got pulled over.
Hmm.
To jail, and then basically Will was just saying because Will came from an environment where that was always happening, and he was just trying to explain to Carlton like, too, like he was just basically explaining like there's a problem with this, and Carlton just wasn't getting it. He was not getting it. He was like, you don't remember that episode? He was just not getting the fact that.
I remember an episode where Will was locked up, but I don't remember what brought him to jail.
They were. I don't know. They were driving. I know they were driving their dad's car. It was a nice car.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the same episode.
The cop is like, and both of them went to jail, and Phil threatened Uncle Phil threatened to sue, like,
Yeah.
And he had to let him know that he was a lawyer. This was when the black baby was still,
Oh yeah, talk about racial. Let me see. Let me make sure. What's the most? Okay, when we talk about black white issues, let me pull this up real quick. It's gotta. I'm trying to see if this is a '90s TV show. Is what I'm kind of stalling for, and it's on that borderline. It started in '87 and went to '93. But this is when you talk about racial issues on, put on television. The one that I always go to is A Different World. Where Dean Cain was
long enough, y'all.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, On a Different World.
Yes.
You remember that episode, dear? What? Remember, as far as we were talking about racial profiling, and remember On a Different World?
Oh, she don't know. Oh, okay, no.
Not racial profiling, fine.
No, it's not racial profiling.
It was the fact that Dean Cain put, he's about to spell out the N-word, him and his buddies.
Yeah, buddy.
And they went to jail. Yeah, all of them went to jail. Well, for fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with that. But anyways, what was your point? Because I don't know why they had to go to jail.
Yeah. Well, if they were fighting, then they should go to jail. But
as you can see on my car, it says what it says. So I don't know. I mean, I understand they did this for a learning moment or whatever.
Right. And that's the 90s. We'll bring it full circle. 90s were about messages. You always had that message in the episode. And let's go back to a show that was the king of messages, Saved by the Bell. My favorite message was
Jesse,
you can't do drugs, guys. And her hardcore drug was speed or caffeine pills.
Boy.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Oh, man. Corny now. But I was like, she's so excited. Oh my God, Zach. Oh God. Oh, Jesse, don't do it. Jesse, say no to math. I mean, she was doing that.
Yeah, I thought she was on something hardcore. Like, what happened to Jesse? She had to be a cokehead. Oh no, Jesse doing cokehead.
Yes, Jesse was taking. What was she taking?
Caffeine pills, right?
Yeah, caffeine pills.
To stay up, right? To study.
Yes.
Yo, caffeine pills.
He wasn't on no coke, no crack, no heroin, no meth, not weed. He was addicted to caffeine pills, y'all. Say no to drugs. They put a whole campaign out on it.
Yo.
Caffeine pills. Listen, let me tell you about them caffeine pills. This one right here had one of those caffeine pills. I'm not going to say the name of the product, to lose weight. And I tried it after I had the kid. I'll never take that thing. I don't know if you remember when I called you, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, Jess, I took so and so," and you were like, "Calm down." I thought I was gonna pass out. I thought I was gonna die. He was like, "Calm down, just calm down and drink some water." Like, just because he was at work and I was bugging out. So I don't know. Maybe she took a lot of caffeine pills.
Yeah,
But
she did.
the way she was acting, you thought she was doing drugs. For what was it for?
Studying for an exam or a midterm or something.
Not only that, because she was trying to keep up with everything. Remember, Jessie was smart. So exams. Remember, she was in the group with Kelly and Lisa. Remember, they were practicing I'm So Excited for Whatever, the song.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the group, and she just had a lot going on that she needed caffeine pills. What was there a message after that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they had the say no to drugs PSA, but that was the point of the episode. I don't know if they were as blunt as they were after. What was the say no to drugs? Was that after drugs at a party?
Yeah, I remember they went to a Greek party.
Was it a Greek?
No. I lied. Wait.
I thought it was with a celebrity. They had a celebrity. Remember, he was smoking weed.
Sorry, not a Greek party. Yeah, the celebrity dude.
Yeah, he was smoking weed in the bathroom.
Yeah, and then Slater.
I know. I know, man. I know he might have. But yeah, 90s were all about the message. Nadia having trouble with her
oh Lord.
Her computer.
We need to give her computer some caffeine pills.
It needs some caffeine pills. Now, we got this show in the comments. I want to know if y'all were about this. Yes.
So I was going to say about the caffeine pill. Laura did the same thing in Family Matters.
Did she? I don't remember that.
It wasn't caffeine. It was some kind of weight loss type of pill. Help her lose weight because she was on the cheerleading squad. She's trying to lose that weight. And you don't remember this? And remember Laura, she didn't take them, but Steve got a hold of them. But he didn't know what else. He just took the pills and he was going crazy and acting real crazy. Mm-hmm. And I think he ended up like almost passing out. And it was too much, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that? Okay.
Nope, not.
Okay.
But I was
in the comments. I'm sorry.
Yes, in the comments, Instagram. Make sure you follow us, SNV Podcast, and this will be a perfect time for you to subscribe on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on an audio platform like iTunes or Google Play, please go ahead and subscribe and like us on that platform. But what we got from my man Shane, his go-to was Dawson's Creek, which is one of those fringe 90s. This is what we're talking about. It ran from 1998 to 2003. So I was like, do you call it a 90s show or not? But since it's prime years, that's when I watched it, was the final. I probably watched it for about 2 or 3 seasons, Dawson's Creek. I wasn't a religious viewer of Dawson's Creek. It was up for six years. I caught it at the first couple of years. You kind of got to look like, I ain't trying to mess with James Vanderbeek and Dawson Leary and Joey Porter, Pacey Witter, Mr. Joshua Jackson. They had a nice lineup. You weren't into it?
I watched it.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, because that's when you're starting to get a little grown. That was towards high school. They had a lot of grown, starting to talk about sex. That's probably one of the first shows that I started watching that had adult themed content, even though, it's not like it's a rated R, it's a doggone TV show, but
that's where you took your sex education on.
That's right. Dawson's Creek. Everybody was trying to get at Joey Potter, aka Katie Holmes. all the guys on the show were trying to get with her. But I don't remember that much. But
I don't either, actually.
That's crazy. I you know the theme song.
But I did watch it. But...
I can't even remember the theme song. Dang it. I don't
Dawson
want to
Creek.
wait for our lives to be over. Yeah, Dawson Creek. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
That's one of the top. That's the top thing. Clay, you know, invite your sister to come back to the show.
I sure did.
Okay. I keep dropping.
Did she? Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna try it again.
You using the invite at the top?
Yep.
All right. Well, she needs to go into her invites and hit accept. But yeah, Dawson Creek that's a fringe 98 through 2003. Mm-hmm. So that one kind of goes. I would kind of lean more to the 2000s. But like I said, the strongest episodes for me were the first couple of years, which were the end of the 90s. But one I can't talk about 90s shows. Well, this was one of my all-time favorites. Friends.
I knew you were going to say that.
Friends. Come on, man. Some people don't get Friends. Some people really don't get Friends. But they had so many different characters. It was strong for like 9 to 10 years. Friends is you can't talk 90s TV shows without talking about Ross and Rachel and Joey and Chandler. Oh man, 6 Friends. Of course, it wasn't realistic. They were all in these nice apartments and they had no real jobs until later. They started popping later. Joey was a struggling actor throughout. Although Ross was, I think, an adjunct professor, and Rachel ended up working for Ralph Lauren. So some of them had some, and Monica, I think she was a top chef. So they started getting there. But
Phoebe.
Oh, Phoebe was crazy.
Phoebe was a massage therapist.
She was a massage therapist.
They kept saying masseuse, which bothers me because as a massage.
Well, it was the 90s. It was acceptable back then. You weren't a massage therapist in the 90s, Claire.
I know. Well, of course not. Of course not. I'm just talking about later. I guess after I became a massage therapist later in life, but watching the reruns. But the only reason why, well, I'll let you talk about this show because I watched it too.
Man,
but, I felt like I was cheating on my other show.
What, Martin?
No.
What other show?
Friends. They are copycats.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
There you go. See, I wish Nadia was here so she could help me tag team these people.
So you're saying that this show, my show, which came out, let's get exact about this, September 22nd, 1994. Go ahead and look up yours.
And Living Single came out in 1991, right?
No, it was just the next year. Because
Living Single came out in 1993.
August of 1993. And apparently it was going to be called Friends.
Exactly. The same person who was to do Living Single ended up doing Friends. There was a connection with
I'm trying to remember. Because they are both Warner Brothers productions. So that is definitely correct. They were both produced by Warner Brothers Television.
I can't remember the person's name. Oh God! They talk about it a lot, like because
Well,
they talk about it, especially because of pay. You know what I mean?
because of what?
The pay that these living single cast got, and they got a lot of views and a lot of viewers. And the pay just didn't reflect what the Friends cast members, cast members,
because the Friends were getting at the end of it, they were getting $1 million an episode each.
I know. And living single cast members were getting a penny, I think. No, I know it wasn't a penny, but it sure was a penny compared to the Friends character, like the Friends,
Well,
actors.
to be fair, they started getting that. Well, I'm sure the discrepancy was from the jump, but Living Single only lasted 5 episodes, and the $1 million per episode really kicked in when they tried to keep the series going for Friends. They were basically either holding out together or deciding whether or not they were going to continue the show. Maybe around the 7th, 8th season after Living Single had already been off the air, and in order to get them to continue on, that's when they really got that $1 million per episode. Yeah. But we all knew from the jump.
Right.
Yeah, so let's see here. All right, so yeah, a lot of people have come out. I'm trying to find out this one person here and confirm that they are the connection. Let's see. Because a lot of people know that, but there's a lot that don't.
I can't remember.
Is it Erica Anderson? Who's the person? Let's see here. And Friends, blah, blah, blah. Pulling that up. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right person to credit that to, but anyways, yeah. So they basically had the same. It was similar. All right, help me out here with Living Single. Did they all stay in the same apartment complex? They didn't, did they? Because Max, who I guess wasn't supposed to be, was Max even supposed to be
okay, so Khadijah, Regine, and Sinclair lived together in an apartment, right?
Okay.
Max lived. It's so weird. Max lived right across from. I don't know if it was the same apartment complex, but she was like right there somewhere. And the thing is, I have to assume. I don't know if Kyle and Overton they were to get room together, and they had to be all together in the same vicinity, because I remember one time Kyle and Max fighting over a parking spot.
And didn't they would go upstairs? I thought didn't Overton?
Yes. So okay. So that's my thing. Yep. So
and he's a super.
So Overton and Kyle did live in the same apartment complex as the girls, and Max had to live. Max didn't. I don't think she lived in that same apartment.
No, because she was a lawyer. So.
Yeah, but she was a lawyer, but she was still living in that area right there. Because the only reason why I know she might not have lived in the same building, but I know she lived like close, like right there, because I remember her and Kyle fighting. I don't know. Or maybe she was fighting. They were fighting over the parking spot because she was trying to get to the girl's house. Who knows? I can't remember, but yeah. So the guys in the three of them lived in the same apartment. You're right.
And I was so wrong because Erica Alexander is Max.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear you say Erica Alexander. Yeah,
I'm trying
she's
to.
the actress.
I'm trying to figure out who made that. Who is the connection on Friends? But that's neither here nor there now.
No, all I know is the creator is Yvette. So
yeah, but yeah,
that's
so.
not who I'm. No, I just remember I cannot remember. It was a guy, it was a man who was like, hey, let's do this. So I don't know, I can't remember. Somebody with the network or whatever. You said Warner Brothers?
Yeah, they're Warner Brothers.
Friends started with Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But then they end up going to
No, not WB the channel. Warner Brothers production.
Oh, okay.
Living Single was on Fox and Friends was on NBC, I believe.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So.
Such a shame.
But yeah, that was bunch of single friends all hanging out in the city. Although they weren't like a mirror reflection of one another. They weren't like Bizarro World where it was the same exact premise, just one white group of friends and one black group of friends. It wasn't that similar. But yeah, it's been acknowledged that Friends, one of the most famous 90s sitcoms, was spun off after the creation of Living Single. So if you want to talk about Friends, you got to talk about Living Single. But if you talk about Friends, you also got to talk about Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, outside of Kramer dropping the N-bomb, which killed it for a lot of people. And for me, I'll be honest, his weird reaction on stage, for those who don't know, what the heck is Kramer? Yeah, what's it? God dang it, what is his name? He went. I'll have it here in a second, but he was, working at a comedy club, and he's a weird cat, anyways. Dude, they don't even.
Michael Richards.
Yes, Michael Richards. Michael Richards went up, did stand up, and got mad because he was getting heckled, and he was making some racial remarks. So after that, it kind of soured because it's hard to watch the show with this guy because I don't want to support him and all this, yes and that. So, but if I can.
Not the man hands.
Yeah, the man hands were hilarious. Muffin tops. There's like Seinfeld is known as the show about nothing. And they talk about
a lot about something that you think about.
Like the ugly baby. Like that's one of my favorite episodes is they go Seinfeld and Friends. They all go to some kind of like a beach vacation or something. I can't remember what brought them there, but when they do, they were with friends and they have a new baby, and they don't and they don't want to. They talk about all kinds of things, and that this episode is classic for a bunch of reasons. One, they talk about basically how you can't call a person's baby ugly. So that's a hilarious thing. And then they also talk about shrinkage. George goes into the pool and he likes this girl, but he has shrinkage, which is hilarious. Oh, man, that's a hilarious episode.
I watched it, but I didn't watch it religiously.
See, that's the great thing about that show is there was continuity, but the continuity from episode to episode was not so tight that you couldn't just pop in and see a random episode and not be lost. You can see any episode at any time, and you'd be good. You wouldn't have to follow the storyline for the entire season. So that was what's great about it. So you could pop in, and there was an episode where I forget it was like a version of the Colonel KFC, but there was a chicken restaurant that opened up right across the street from Kramer's apartment, and it did so with this huge red neon light, so he couldn't sleep. So he wasn't sleeping because the light was so bright. He was going crazy. That was a hilarious episode. There's so many different. So I like the little things, like Superman was, I think, hidden in every, because Seinfeld's a big Superman freak. I think Superman was in every episode. Just his relationship with Newman, where every time he would see Newman, he'd be like, Newman. Little stuff. It's all about little stuff. Elaine dancing, which is the classic now characteristic of a white girl dancing, because she danced so horribly. There's so many like little classic episodes of the 90s. So man, you can't go wrong with Seinfeld. You can't ignore Seinfeld.
I remember watching that show when I was like little, because it first came on in '89.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I remember watching, but I didn't understand it. I didn't, get it like that. So I think as I got older, I didn't really watch it like that. But it was around for a long time.
Yeah,
remember?
See,
10 years?
I did. Yeah. Well, it was 9 seasons. It ended in the last episode. It ended in '98.
Yeah.
So, and it ended in number 1. So that's one thing that's rare about that makes Seinfeld one of the greatest, because it ended after 10 years as the number 1 rated show. Which a lot of our shows we watched, and like we mentioned, Martin, just kind of the viewers fell off. It grew, like where Martin started with 11 and ended with 6. This started with a 12.5 and ended with a 22. Like crazy, ridiculous numbers.
Oh wow!
So yeah, Seinfeld was an amazing show, and it's. Maybe I'll just get over the whole thing and be able to compartmentalize.
Good luck.
It's hard. It's hard. Like I can't see
that show.
It's hard. Like
comes in the door and all you can hear in the back.
Yeah. You're just like, oh dang, he just messed it up for me. Let me just switch to something else. Let me go ahead and try and see if I can get into Fresh Prince. I need to rejuvenate my soul, refresh my soul.
It comes on. It still comes on. Fresh Prince.
I can't do it though.
Fresh
I can't.
Prince and
Martin all day. Which is crazy because I did not watch Martin like that. I remember catching it like Martin every now and again when it was live. But syndication is really where I started watching Martin. And I still haven't seen all the episodes. I don't think.
If I'm watching, what? You sure?
I might have. I don't know, but not enough. Not enough that I know every episode like that.
I've seen every episode, and I've watched it multiple times throughout the years. Multiple times. Like I can even hear like it can be playing in the background, and I can hear like just a line, and I'll tell you what that episode was about.
Yes. All right. Well, let's wrap this podcast up. I mean, we could go on forever about the
Yeah,
90s
it's a
TV
lot.
shows. There's so much to it. But yeah,
It's a
those
lot. It is a lot.
that
90210. I watched that.
I never watched that.
Really?
No, that was too grownish for me
I
at the
know.
time. It was too grownish for me. I remember
It was grown.
my friend's grandfather had a houseboat and we would we went to spend the night on the houseboat because that was for whatever reason a cool thing. Um and I say that because that's when I really remember. I remember them. Oh, I've got to tune into 90210, and I believe this is on Timeline. Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roseanne was on. And I
Yeah, I
don't.
watched Roseanne.
I think that was. I think both of those were on at the same time. I think, but and neither one of those shows I was into. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince was me and my mom. We would sit down at 8 o'clock. Boom, Fresh Prince is
Your
on.
mama watched Fresh Prince?
Absolutely, absolutely. That was our show. We would
Stop
watch that
playing.
thing together.
Your mom watched Fresh Prince?
Yeah, man, we didn't miss an episode.
Get
We were
out of
all
here.
about that. Yeah, man.
Your brother watched Fresh Prince too?
My brother? Nah, he was a couple of years younger. He wasn't. He might have been in bed at that time.
What? What do you mean
8 o'clock.
in bed?
He's 3 years younger. 8 o'clock.
Excuse you. You still have to go to school too?
Not when Fresh Prince is on, girl.
I know that's right.
You stay up, you watch that, then you brush your teeth and go to bed.
Well, the Dia and I are just a year apart, so we got to watch everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Dang on it. And what was the other show?
You tell me.
Wayans Brothers.
That was a 90s show? That seemed like 98, 99. I have no idea.
The Wayans Brothers came on. Well, I guess it was because I was in middle school at the time, I guess. The Wayans Brothers, like 1996, maybe.
Really? Because that put it on Timeline with Jamie Foxx show.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says that's the name. 1995.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was before Jamie Foxx.
So they must have spun that right after in Living Color. Oh. No, I'm just saying the timeline. I know they're not. I know they're different. Yeah, because
Living Color
went off like at 94.
No, Living Color.
I think so.
No, I thought Living Color went off at around 91. Right when Martin was coming on.
My internet is acting slow.
Okay, I'll look. In Living Color.
I want to say that was 90 to 94 was in Living Color.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 1990 to 94.
So after the young Wayans got off that show, they said, I need something to do since my show is done.
Right.
Let me go ahead and jump on to the Wayans brothers and get my own show. After the Big Bro show is done, I'll get my own show.
And, there was a little buffoonery going on that show. But, I mean,
what you mean?
Buffoonery.
You mean goofiness?
Huh?
You mean goofiness?
Yeah, how just acting. How people would say now, like, how do I say it?
They not showing black folks off well in a good light.
Sometimes just acting a little too fool, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
borderline stepping that shit kind of thing. But I don't know. I like that show. I love that show. So whatever.
Yeah, they got 5 seasons out of that.
I remember on the episode of In Living Color, I think the season was about to end, like the final, and I think it was Keenan Ivory Wayans or Damon. Somebody made a reference, it was and said something about something about like that other guy on that other show. But that part, something like I think it's like he's not that funny, or that show won't last, or something like that. And that's when Martin. They were talking about Martin.
Um,
Yeah, they're talking about Martin.
yeah, they were right.
What you mean they were right? The show just came on. Like the show just this was when it first came out, like 1992.
Yeah.
What do you mean they were right? That show, because I was trying to say, that show, like, it's not funny or it won't be funny or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't been last for 5 seasons now.
Martin?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
It should have went on forever.
remember, Marlon Wayans just had a interview, and he said that he wants his show to be like a Martin. He gave praise to Martin in
Oh
Martin's
yeah.
show. Remember?
Yeah, and then it lasted 2 seasons, so.
Oh Lord.
Wah, wah, wah.
Dang, man. I have hope for them. Yeah, but in the 90s, the Wayans, they were like doing it, man.
Did you know about Omar Epps and the Wayans brothers?
What about Omar Epps and the Wayans brothers?
Mhm.
What about them?
Now I'm trying to remember.
Omar Epps
Um,
and the Wayans.
yeah, because apparently he was let me my internet is running so slow, but let me see if I can find this out real quick. He was a he helped produce the theme. You ain't know that?
Omar Epps
Yes.
produced what theme?
The theme music.
To the Wayans brothers?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Along because Marlon and Omar were homies. They went to the same school.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Huh.
So they I guess they teamed up. I'm seeing. I'm trying to get the whole story because I'm just now seeing this, and like I knew from a previous episode that previous interview that Marlon and him and Omar were cool. But I'm just now seeing this thing about being a producer. So it was
He was a producer?
well,
Oh, you mean he
the
had his
hip
hand in
hop
the theme song?
instrumental beat for the theme song was changed,
Oh, I
and
got you.
that was produced by the Wayans brothers and Omar.
Okay, so the beat to it.
Yes.
The which one? Did they say
I think this is in the later seasons,
the
maybe
later
season.
Oh.
I think season 3-ish, maybe. Nope,
Yeah.
season 4 and 5.
Yeah, that's when the beat changed.
So 4 and 5, Sean Marlon, Omar Epps, and Eric Willis were credited for the theme song.
Sean?
Yep. Yep. So did not know that.
I don't know who did the theme song to the first, seasons.
The first
Probably
season,
No?
that was credited a different composer, Tom Rizzo. At least in season 3.
Who the heck was Tom?
I
The music. I mean the lyrics. I don't know who did the lyrics. Dang on lyrics.
I don't know. Good question.
Whatever.
That'd be a good one. But yeah, so many great 90s television shows. We'll pick it up again maybe on a different day. Maybe when everybody's internet and phones are
I
up
know
to speed.
what's going on.
It's a daggone shame is what it is.
You're going to edit it, right? I'm just joking.
Live and in color.
Oh, you one of those people.
Yeah, man.
If you mess up and fall or something, you'll keep it up.
Do you see the clip of the guy? What was he doing? Drinking a beer, or taking a selfie, or doing something on Fox TV, and he fell out his chair, and his co-host just went ahead about her business and kept going on with the segment and didn't pick him up. Oh, it's hilarious! It was all over Twitter. You have to.
Oh, so you want to Beyonce? Yes, that's what you'll do.
Yeah, you get Beyonce on this series. You will be the Kelly or the Michelle rather. You'll be the Michelle. See, I already forgot her name. That's how Michelle she is. I forgot.
She has a show coming out.
Ain't nobody gonna watch it. I didn't say that. It's not a '90s classic. That's all I'm saying. It's not a '90s classic. It's just not.
So what did you get from looking back? What did you get from the '90s shows?
My whole takeaway was, that was when the true talent thrived. It was a nitty-gritty era. Only the best and the baddest survived and actually made it on air. And then after you make it on air, then you have to continue to put out great content year after year.
Right.
That's what we got out of the '90s. And man, we didn't even really get into the characters that are till this day. I mean, characters that were so strong that people could not get jobs after they left that show. Jaleel White could not. I mean, he worked, but come on.
That's
even
true.
Zach Morris, Mark Paul Gosselaar, or whatever his name is. Zach Morris could not. He was on some cop shows, but come on now.
He's in a lot of Lifetime movies.
Yeah, that you relegated to Lifetime after this. I mean, Carlton. They still call Alfonso Carlton till this day.
That's what I'm going to say. A lot of these characters from the '90s are still called by their character
names. Like, I don't even remember their real names. They don't exist. Like,
that's messed up.
As big as.
Wait a minute. Before we leave,
my fingers on the end button.
Not leave, because I know they will chew our heads off, or mine, or whoever, if we never mention this. Okay, well, first we have to mention the Cosby Show, because I'm going to mention the Cosby Show, whatever, because I love that show.
That's in the '80s, though, right?
Yeah, you're right. But
okay.
It ended in the early '90s, but that's what I thought you said. But okay, fine. But we have to mention. I mean, but I have to mention A Different World. I can't mention that.
We talked about A Different World briefly.
Okay, fine. We didn't pay homage enough. Okay.
Okay, we talked about it because
probably my phone.
Yeah, because I was mentioning that this was one of those fringe ones that half its time was split between the '80s and the '90s. But we did say they had the message, they had the theme, and that's what we wanted to.
You're exactly right. We did mention it.
But
I felt bad because we didn't really mention it. But anyways, all right. Yeah, you're right, because I was on that. Guys, pregnancy brain.
But yeah, a lot. Like you said, there's a lot going on.
God, we sure did.
There's a lot of relationships in that. We'll edit.
You Beyonce. Ooh.
Dang
you.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Clay, you got the magic button. So until then, follow us on SNV Podcasts or Sunday Night Vibe Podcast on most major platforms. Please subscribe on YouTube, Instagram. Claire, you got the magic button to call it in, but anything you want to say before you hit the button?
Sure. Hopefully we can touch on some 70s shows. 80s. My favorite 80s.
That's before my time, Claire.
Oh, you were born in the 80s. Don't play no games.
All right, then. With that being said,
you know I like old school stuff. Peace out.